Hi and welcome to this makeup tutorial. This is my everyday glowy clean girl makeup routine. I recently got a few comments saying that you want to see a makeup tutorial, and here it is. This is my makeup. I do this makeup every single day when I do wear makeup, and I usually never switch up. I have a lot of favorite products that I don't want to miss ever. I have tried a lot of products and techniques over the years, but this is my favorite makeup routine, and I feel like it suits my face really well, looks natural and glowy, and that's exactly what I want to achieve. I really hope you enjoy this video, so let's jump right into my routine. Okay, first I obviously did my skincare. Right now I keep the skincare routine really simple because I had some kind of allergic reaction to something that I am using. So right now I just cleanse my face with a CeraVe cleanser, and then I use the CeraVe moisturizer, just the blue one, so the classic moisturizer. And then I also use my sunscreen. This is the La Roche-Posay sunscreen. It's basically everything I do for skincare right now, just because I don't want another allergic reaction. My eyes are still like a little puffy and red. The first thing I use is this Essence Hello Good Stuff Glow Serum Primer. This is a dupe for a Glow Recipe primer. I'm not sure what the name of it is, but I'm gonna put a picture on the screen here, and I would like to try the Glow Recipe one because I really like this one, and like I said, this is kind of a dupe, but I'm really interested to see like what the difference is and if the Glow Recipe one is like even better. This one gives me a really nice glow. As you can see, like my skin is instantly shiny and glowy, and I always like a natural, radiant looking base. Then I go in with either of these products. I have two NARS products for my base. This is the tinted moisturizer in the shade Light Zero. It's the Pure Radiant Tinted Moisturizer, and I really like this one for days where I don't want to use or wear a lot of makeup. This is really light, but it kind of just blurs your face, which I love. And then for days where I do want to wear a little bit more makeup, I have the NARS Light Reflecting Foundation in the shade L2, and I love this one as well. It is a really light foundation. As you can see, it's kind of liquidy. I'm gonna blend it out with the Real Techniques Expert Face Brush, and I just like buff it out all over my face. Another thing about this foundation is it is really glowy, like it's not a matte foundation, and I feel like it just blends really nicely into my skin. I just want a little bit of coverage and for my complexion to be really radiant and smooth, and I feel like this foundation really does that for me. Also, my skin is more on the drier side, and I also tend to have a few like blemishes here and there, and once again I feel like the foundation covers it really nicely, but also like doesn't dry out my skin. And as you can see, it's really glowy. I feel like this primer also works really well with the foundation and makes it really nice and glowy. My next step is contour, and I recently got the Charlottetilbury contour wand in the shade Fair. I wasn't sure if I would like it because I did see a few like negative reviews and that it can get really messy, but for me it's fine. I don't think that is really messy. I really like a liquid contour. I just put these few dots all around my face, and I'm also gonna put some here just to give my face a little lift. And as you can see, I also did some on my nose, like on the sides beneath it, and then also this little line to give this like button nose effect. And I'm gonna blend it out with the same brush. As you can see, I'm kind of like dabbing it out because I don't want to disturb the makeup underneath and make it look like streaky or anything and like push it around. So I'm just gonna dab everything in really lightly. I'm always trying to go over the nose really lightly because I don't want my lines to get all over the place because I am using a bigger brush. Then I'm gonna go in with blush, and I have two different blush colors that I like to use. These are both from Milk Makeup, and the first one is a little bit lighter. It's the shade Work. Once again, I'm just tabbing because I don't want to disturb anything underneath. As you can see, this one is really light, but I still like to use it kind of like as a base for my next blush. I don't know, I just like mixing the two of them. I think it gives me the perfect blushed look, and blush is always the first thing to fade, so I like to go in a little bit heavier. And then I have the next shade, which is Quirk, and this one is a little bit darker, but I feel like still in the same like color range. It's more red, I would say. So that's my blush. As you can see, still my face is really glowing, which I love, but I'm gonna go in with highlighter now. I just recently started using highlighter again because what always like bothers me is when a highlighter is just glitter and no glow, if that makes sense. I'm now using this little mini Rare Beauty one, and this is the liquid luminizer. I'm just gonna put this on my cheekbones. What I forgot to mention, I placed my contour and also my blush kind of high on my cheeks just because I want that lifted look, because I think that suits my face the best. So I'm kind of putting my highlighter onto my blush, if that makes sense. And I also put a little bit on my chin and also on the tip of my nose and the bridge. And I also really like to put it right here, kind of between my brows, because I think it looks really nice when the light hits in the center of my face. And I am blending that out with my finger just because I don't want highlighter to get in my one brush that I use. Blending everything a little bit on my temples. I always try to place my makeup where it kind of makes natural sense. So I'm gonna put the highlighter on the places where light hits my face and I want it to like reflect. So I'm gonna put it on my cheekbones, my nose, my chin, and also a little bit in the center of my face, like I said, between my brows. And I always blend it up in my forehead. I feel like not a lot of people place highlighter in the center of their foreheads, but I feel like my forehead is kind of like rounded out, so the light hits like right here and also on my temples. And then now I'm going in with my concealer. This is the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer in the shade Light 1, and I use this to cover my blemishes on my jaw, just where I need it. I don't like to use a lot of concealer just because it makes my makeup feel kind of heavy because it is high coverage. So I just like to put it where I think I need it, and then also I like to carve out my contour really lightly, put a little bit on my nose, and I'm also gonna put a little bit underneath my eyes, but just like in the corners. I also blend this eye part out with my fingers, and I do drag a little bit in my inner corner, but I feel like that's enough for me. I don't like to have a lot of concealer under my eyes and in my inner corner, just because I don't want it to get dry and have to set it with a lot of powder so it doesn't crease. I'm gonna blend the nose with my fingers, and I drag it up a little bit, like right here, to also carve out the contour. And then everything else on my jaw area I blend out with the same brush. Okay, and then I usually just check if everything It's blended really nicely because the next step is to set the face, and I use the Charlottetilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Complexion Smoothing Micro Powder. I think that's the name. I just recently got this and I already hit pan because I love this powder. I love it so much. I feel like this is the best powder I have ever had. Like the name suggests, it really makes you look airbrushed. And I go in with a little powder puff, and then I use the palm of my hand to press into it just so I don't have too much powder on the puff. And I just go over the areas that I do want to set. I know that my smile lines tend to crease over the day, so I'm gonna put powder there. And also I tend to put my face like in my hand like this. Sometimes like when I work, or I don't know, just subconsciously I do that. So I'm gonna set my jaw really well as well. Also, I put a lot of concealer there, so I want to set that. And then I go in under my eyes, and for that I just like fold the powder puff in half, so I can get in like my inner corners and everything. And I just tap really, really lightly under my eyes. And then I like put my puff like this in the powder, because I'm gonna put powder on the sides of my nose again to carve out the contour. Okay, the base is almost done. I have my last product, which is my Hoola bronzer. I have been using this since I was like 15 or something, but I still like it. I feel like it blends really nicely, and I kind of always come back to it for some reason. I just use it to warm up my face a little bit. I'm also going to blend down my neck with this. I always like to squeeze my brush with my fingers to put the bronzer on my nose. Oh, also, yes, this is my second brush. This is a Cream Cheeks Survivor brush. Okay, the base is done, and I'm going to set it now with my first setting spray, which is the MAC Fix Plus. This is also like a classic, I feel like. This I like to use to kind of melt my liquid products and my powder products into my face. This is my first layer of setting spray. I do have another setting spray that I use like when I'm done with everything else. Next, I'm gonna do my brows. I'm just going to brush them out. And then I have the NYX Brow Tint pen. This is kind of like an eyeliner pen, but like not as pigmented. I just go along with the natural shade of my brows and fill in where I think I need it. And then to set them, I use the Benefit 24-hour brow setter. Again, I'm just gonna brush them like how they naturally fall. But to achieve the lifted look, I like to brush them up when it comes to the tail and give them a little bit of a lifted look. Next, I'm gonna do my lashes. And then again, I'm gonna use the NYX Brow Tint pen to do my eyeliner. I always like to do a little tiny wing, and I just follow the natural shape of my lashes, so I feel like it might look like an extra lash. Then I'm gonna use my mascara. This is a L'Oreal mascara, and it's a brown one because I don't want like a sharp contrast in my face. I'm more of a light to medium contrast person, and I'm going in really lightly because I don't really like the look of spiky lashes. I also don't use mascara on my bottom lashes because I want to keep the under eyes really light. That's typically all I do for my eyes, but if I do want a little bit of a sharper wing, I like to go in with the Epic Wear Waterproof NYX eyeliner. This is also a brown eyeliner, but it is a little bit darker. For the sake of this video, I'm just gonna put on this liner as well so you can see the difference. This one still, I want the liner to be really subtle and light. Don't know if you can see a difference, but this is the darker eyeliner. And now one of the last steps is my lips. This right here is my favorite lip liner, which is really basic of me because this is the Charlottetilbury Pillow Talk lip liner. I use this one every day. I feel like it suits my face really well. One thing I would like to say is I do have lip filler. I don't have a lot on my lips. My lips are naturally really small, so my filler is also not as much, but I just wanted to say and address that. I used to overline my lips, but now that I do have the lip filler, I just fill in the natural shape. I only overline in the center right here because I like my cupid's bow to be rounded out. I don't know. I feel like it just suits my face. This again, I go in kind of lightly and just line my lip line and then like kind of blend it in. Okay, and we're almost done. I'm gonna use my second and last setting spray. This is the I don't know how to pronounce this, but I recently got this because I heard that this one really makes your makeup stay and last hours and hours on end, and also it makes your makeup survive humidity. At least that's what I heard, and so that's why I got it, and I'm kind of trying it out at the moment. I feel like the last few times I used it, it worked really well. It is a little bit strange because it feels like I am spraying hairspray on my face, which is a little bit crazy, but if it makes my makeup stay, I'm down to do that. Okay guys, you made it to the end of my makeup tutorial. This is my finished everyday makeup. I'm a big fan of using makeup to enhance your natural features, and I feel like I have that down for myself because I do know my natural features really well and just try to enhance them, direct the intention to my eyes, my lips and the highlighted spots on my face, and keep the attention away from the blemishes that I do have on my jaw. And yeah, I just like to look really glowy and natural. I feel like I achieved that with this makeup look. Like I said, you've made it to the end of this video. I really hope you enjoyed watching me do my makeup and see all of the products that I use and the techniques that I like to use. So thank you so much for watching this video. And if you see this, please leave me a comment saying what you guys' favorite makeup products are, because I feel like that's so interesting. There's so much makeup out there and different things work for different people. Again, thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'm gonna see you in my next video. Bye!